Hi there, Kate Bora and Fiona Pearman, joining you for this week's live where we want to continue our conversation around the importance of taking action. And today we really want to unpack what are the things to look out, the red flags that are clues to what is maybe getting in the way or stopping you from taking action and having the confidence that you would like. We work with hundreds and hundreds of women, right? And this ability to move from a place of indecision, procrastination, uncertainty, uh, a lack of confidence through to a place of making a decision and taking action is really critical to creating the confidence, the certainty, the courage that you would like. One of the core philosophies of our work is that the act of confidence comes before the feeling of confidence. And so, while that's an important philosophy to hold and a really good piece to orientate around, the ability to unpack and get beneath maybe what might be stopping us from taking action is super important because many of us will kind of default to, oh, I'm just not motivated. I don't want it. I don't feel like it. There's all of kind of these top surface layer pieces. But what we know when we dig beneath the surface, and we do that nearly every day in our Acts of Confidence program or our in-house bespoke women in leadership programs, is that there are some common themes and pieces to look out for.
Yes, we are always curious about what's going on, what's the deeper reason, what's actually causing the problems, the challenges. And look, we know that a lot of this has to do with the way we were raised, it's a lot to do with societal conditioning, it's a lot to do with the messaging that women receive really since we were small girls. So as we start to think about this, it's not about beating ourselves up. It's about looking for the clues, looking at those red flags, the things that get in the way of our willingness to take action. And we start with uncertainty. This is such a normal response. When things feel uncertain, when I don't know the lay of the land, or I'm not sure how things will turn out, our brain really dislikes that feeling. It dislikes not knowing what will come next. And so we seek comfort, safety, the things we know. We want predictability. And often that means we hold back, we delay action because we're waiting until things feel more certain. We're trying to get rid of all the risk before we do something. And this just does not work because we get stuck in the same place. And so recognizing this as a pattern, understanding what's going on, we know that you can't think your way into this. The only way is to take some action. The action, as soon as you move, reveals more, and therefore you have more clarity.
Yeah, I think the ability here um, to be able to use the uncertainty. The question I often ask myself when I'm being my own best coach, a critical philosophy of our work as well, is if I'm not making the progress on a goal, a target, something I want, what is going on for me? And it's very hard to take action if you don't know what you want, if you don't know whether the step that you might take will be successful, or worse, if the step you might take could actually uh, damage something or make you go backwards, right? So when you're in that state of complete uncertainty, it makes complete human sense that you would not move. The opportunity, though, is not to wait for their certainty to fall from the sky, right? There's work to be done. And that's why, this is a perfect segue into red flag number two, which is a lack of clarity. Because often what's going on, either I'm unclear about what I want, or I'm unclear about what the plan is, what I need to do, what action I need to take to start me moving towards that goal. Now, sometimes we think we need to know all the steps. I often use the analogy of a recipe, right? We need to know all the ingredients. But when we think about taking action on a goal, sometimes we just need to know step one, maybe step two. And it's in the action taking of step one and step two that we get more information about what would be a good step three, step four, for example. We know that clarity creates certainty, clarity creates confidence, it also creates courage. And it's something that we talk about nearly every day in our work because it is such a powerful um, North Star when we think about behaviors, decisions, beliefs, and really shifting how we show up in service of what we want to achieve in career and life. And there's quite a paradox here because clarity feels like it should be easy. It feels like I should know what I want. Um, and we know that there's work to be done to be able to get beneath the surface. And we're going to say more about that later, but to be clear about what's important to you, what you want, what you don't want. And so once we're able to get clear, we're able to create that plan, create that pathway. Without the clarity, we can tend to stagnate or kind of circle, and procrastination is again another good clue that we're not clear.
Yes, clarity is enormous. We spend a lot of time each and every day guiding, coaching, helping people find their clarity, helping people become their own best coach around clarity. And we notice how often this plays out for people. When we think about red flag number three, this is all about indecision. And this is something really, I think it's good to notice about ourselves. If you are someone who's really decisive, there's probably some things going on that are happening. Maybe you have plenty of clarity, maybe you know where you're going. But if you're someone who finds decisions really tricky, or holds back or tends to not make decisions, and I'll put my hand up here, I've certainly been someone who likes to keep my options open. And so closing in, making a decision for me can feel quite challenging. So as you understand what's going on for you and why you're not being decisive or why it doesn't feel safe to make a decision, there are some really good clues about a bit of the work to be done. It may be that we're fearful that we're going to do it wrong, that we're going to stuff up, that we're going to be exposed, that we're going to make the wrong decision. And the wrong decision is somehow going to come back on us, and be something that is going to make us look bad. Or, maybe we're going to, if it's a financial decision, we're going to lose money. Or if it's a career decision and we're going to end up in the wrong place and we're going to have a bad work environment. There's lots of ways in which the fear of what might come if I make a bad decision is driving a retreat from making a decision at all. We might be worried we're not going to get it right. We don't have all the information. The perfectionism thing can, rear its head. I can't decide anything until I know all of the facets and understand everything. And we see this, and that tends to be that sort of, analysis paralysis place that many people get stuck in. Or we're simply waiting for permission. We kind of want someone else to decide or make the decision for us. And that doesn't put us in the driver's seat. That doesn't mean we're the ones who are in control and who are getting the outcomes we want. So when it comes to indecision, it can feel like the better option in the moment. It feels safer than making a commitment, but it actually stalls us. And the lack of decision becomes a decision in itself. And that lack of commitment, that lack of movement actually keeps us stuck. And it starts to reinforce the habit of not being willing to make a decision or take an action.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to tell ourselves stories, especially if a big part of our identity is being defined by getting things perfect, getting it right, ticking the box, all of those sorts of things. For many of us, we've got a belief in our head, that I need that 100% certainty and read 100% confidence in order to make a decision. I need more information. And again, it's kind of this unconscious formula in our head around at what point is it safe enough? Do I have enough information to be able to make a decision? The challenge, of course, increasingly is that less and less perfect information is not available, certainly in the time frame that we might like. And so we have to start to reset some of those formulas in our head around how do I go about making decisions. And a lot of what's going on beneath the surface here is red flag number four, which is fear, right? Fee's already talked about this pace around, worrying about getting it wrong. If I take action and I get it wrong, what will people think of me? If I, will I be judged? Will I be criticized? Will I still fit in? Lots of different circumstances play out, and often fear is really, in our experience, sitting beneath the surface of all of these pieces, right? We want safety, we want certainty. That translates for many of us into a feeling of confidence that when I take an action, when I do something, it will be in the right direction. It will be in service of me and my goals, and that there won't be any negative repercussions. The challenge, of course, is we can never de-risk, an entire situation, and the cost of trying to de-risk it is too much in terms of time, sometimes in terms of money, as well. And so there are, again, lots of stories we can tell ourselves here, that can, I guess, help us trick ourselves a little bit into saying I'm not ready, but actually it's fear disguised beneath the surface.
So much here, in terms of understanding ourselves and really to be kind to ourselves. And just this is so normal. This is the conversations we're having every day. And so the more we can dig in and understand this, the better it is, because we've got more self-knowledge, and self-knowledge means we are more likely then to take an action and do something differently. We're going to leave it there. If you enjoyed today's confidence conversation and you know of someone in your world who'd benefit from it, we'd love you to share and tag them. If you'd like to see more of our conversations, you can head over to our YouTube channel, hundreds and hundreds of videos there, and well over 60 of our alumni sharing their story of what happened for them as they went deeper, as they were willing to lean into, to understand what was causing them to stop taking action or to be worried about taking action. Lots of them share that story particularly. You'll find plenty of information. And if you'd like to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, you can visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au.
Thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to hit subscribe on your YouTube channel for more insights on confidence, leadership, and complex work environments. We drop new videos regularly and we'd love to share them with you.